There are days when you look at your life, and it feels like a performance you forgot you agreed to. You hear yourself speak, and it sounds practiced, not true. You make choices that feel automatic, not intentional. You move through conversations, roles, and routines, yet a part of you feels missing from all of it. It is not that something is wrong with you. It is that you have been changing without noticing. Losing a sense of who you are rarely happens in one dramatic moment. It starts in small moments. You say yes when you want to say no. You act fine when you feel overwhelmed. You pretend you do not care when you care deeply. You slowly become someone who is convenient for others and confusing for yourself. Little by little, you place pieces of yourself on pause because life feels easier that way. At first, it feels harmless. A tiny compromise here, a tiny performance there. Then one day you notice the distance. You look at yourself and cannot trace how you got here. A lot of who you became was shaped by what life expected from you. Maybe you learned to keep the peace to avoid conflict. Maybe you learned to stay productive because slowing down felt unsafe. Maybe you learned to stay agreeable because your wants were dismissed. These patterns were not weakness. They were what helped you move through your past. You did not build this identity by asking what you needed. You built it by reading the room. But the person you had to be back then does not match the person you are trying to become now. That tension is why you feel unfamiliar to yourself. You are outgrowing a version that once protected you. This kind of confusion often shows up when your old roles stop making sense. The things that once felt like home no longer seem real. The routines you relied on feel empty. The opinions you held start to loosen. Your mind may call this losing yourself, but often it is losing the mask that helped you get through years that were hard to live in. It can seem like you are losing direction, but you are actually shedding the old scaffolding you built to survive. Confusion is not the absence of a self. It is a sign that the way you understand yourself is rearranging to match the life you are in now. A slow reorganization of your inner world that takes time to understand. Not recognizing yourself can be frightening because it is like losing control. You want clarity. You want to feel grounded. You want to trust your choices again. But you are still holding the expectation that you should feel like your old self. The truth is that old self grew out of patterns that no longer support you. There is grief in letting them go, even if they were built from pressure. You are not meant to return to who you were. You are meant to meet who you are now. Your sense of self becomes clearer when you let today speak more clearly than your history. You may start to see how some rooms make you smaller, some conversations leave you drained, and some parts of you keep returning no matter how often you push them aside. These are not tasks to complete. They are signals that you are ready to live more honestly. You are in a transition your past never taught you how to move through. The parts that feel most uncomfortable are often the parts that no longer want to be lived on autopilot. If you do not recognize yourself, it does not mean you disappeared. It means something inside you is asking to be acknowledged. A way of living that fits the person you are today, not the one you had to be before. You are not going backward. You are allowed to let the person you used to be become a chapter instead of a cage, and to stay with the person who is taking shape now. This unfamiliar feeling is not the loss of identity. It is the beginning of feeling like your life belongs to you.